Yes, my people, it is your boy VRD, and we are down here at Brighton Station for another commentated drive. And in today's video, we are taking a trip down to Seaford. La-da-da-da, la-da-da-da-da-da. I'm joking, bro. Yeah, we're going to be taking a four carriage class 377 from Brighton down to Seaford Station, calling at all stations. Those being London Road, Moulscombe, Falmer, Lewis, Southeast, Newhaven Town, Newhaven Harbour, Bishopstone, and finally Seaford. Total journey time of about 50 minutes, I'd say. Now, I'm going to tell you guys from now, I haven't driven down the Seaford line in about probably a month, I'd say. So, my route knowledge and my geography is going to be a bit rusty. I'm saying it from now to get out of the way rather than having an embarrassing moment and then saying it. So, yeah, I've covered myself. So, here's our beautiful little four carriage class 377 Electro Star. The turnaround time for this service is ridiculously tight. I don't know why. The train's literally just pulled into Brighton Station and it's due out at 12 minutes past 4, and it is 3 minutes past 4 right now. And when it gets to Seaford, the turnaround time there is even shorter. I think it's like a 5 minute turnaround time at Seaford. So yeah, a moment of silence for the poor guy that has to drive this service over however long their shift is. So I've entered the back cab. I'm setting the driver reminder appliance, sitting in the driver's seat to take command of the service, turning off the headlight switch and turning the tail light switch into the auto or on position. Today I'm going to choose the auto position because that is what I normally choose. Exiting the nope, ensuring that no master key is inserted, also ensuring that the FNR switch is in the off position, exiting the cab and ensuring that we have two red tail lights being displayed. We're now going to make our way up to the front of this four carriage train. I think I've stated the fact that it's four carriages like 3 times already. And here we are up at the front of the train. And again, this happened in quite a few of my videos, but the headlights and tail lights are switched off, which is incorrect. There should be two red tail lights being displayed right now. So the driver that was last driving this, you are sacked, mate. Pack your bags and leave. So I've now entered the front cab. I'm configuring the gangway doors correctly. Going to turn the driver reminder appliance, automatic warning system, vigilance and driver safety device isolation switches into the vertical normal positions. I'm now going to set the driver reminder appliance, sit in the driver's seat, insert the master key, turn the FNR switch into the neutral position and acknowledge the AWS self-test sequence. And just like so, I'm now going to I'm just going to test the tail lights quickly. So turning the tail light switch into the on position, quickly ensuring that our tail lights are functioning correctly, which they are. Now going to turn the tail light switch into the while your FNR switch is in the forward, neutral or reverse position, your tail light switch can be in the off or auto position. And we're gonna configure the headlights correctly, so I'm going to select the day running configuration on the headlight switch. I'm now going to set the destination display, so I've clicked PIS on the TMS screen. I'm now going to scroll down to Seaford, wherever it is, there it is. Clicking confirm location and clicking exit. I am now going to take a glance at the front of the train and ensure that everything is being displayed correctly. Destination display reads Seaford. Bright headlight is shining from the non-driver side and the LED light is shining from the driver's side, which is the day running configuration. Now returning to the cab, sitting my backside down in the seat, and awaiting our scheduled departure time. I'll catch you guys in a bit. Right, we are down to within 2 minutes of our scheduled departure time. As you can see, our platform starter signal has cleared, so I'm resetting the driver reminder appliance. I'm gonna have a look at our calling pattern here. We are service 2 Charlie 44 to Seaford, calling at London Road, Moulscombe, Falmer, Lewis, South East, New Haven Town, New Haven Harbour, Bishopstone and Seaford. And we are due in to Seaford at 16:48. So 38 minutes of driving time. 38 minutes of driving time. Can I count? Can I count? Did I get that right? Yeah, 38 minutes of driving time. Oh, that would have been embarrassing. We're now down to within 30 seconds of our scheduled departure time, so I'm taking a glance at the CCTV monitors, pressing the door close button. The blue door interlock light has illuminated. Taking a final glance at the CCTV monitors, a final glance at the signal, still green. Moving the FNR switch into the forward position, and I am going to perform a test of the hill start button, which is something that you do when departing from the first station of your trip. So holding in the hill start button, selecting the off position on the power brake controller, observing a reading of 1 bar on the brake cylinder gauge. Bearing in mind I'm still holding in the hill start button, I'm now going to select power notch 1, still holding in the hill start button, waiting for about a second, releasing the hill start button, observing the brake cylinder gauge reading fall to 0 bar, and the train should begin to move off. I'm now going to up the power to power notch 2 and accelerate up to 15 miles an hour. Now reducing the power and shutting off the power as we get to 15 miles an hour. Speed limit will be raising to cool, blimey. Speed limit will be raising to 75 25 miles an hour at the end of the platform. And as you can see, we have a letter E in the theatre box display associated with the platform starter signal, telling us that we are being routed onto the East Coastway route. The letter M tells you that you are being routed over there onto the Brighton main line towards Gatwick Airport, and I believe the letter L tells you that you're being routed into Lovers Walk Depot, all the way over there on the far left. So we should now be clear of the platform, so I'm gonna select power notch 2 to accelerate up to 25 miles an hour. Up to 25 miles an hour, so I'm shutting off the power again. We just passed a little tiny speed board at track level with the number 30 in it. So once we are clear of that board, our speed limit will be increasing to 30 miles an hour. Okay. Focus. So we're now clear of the 30 board, so I'm selecting power notch 2 again to increase our speed to 30 miles an hour. And we are not too far out from London Road Station. I almost forgot that I was due to stop there because I thought I was driving an eastbourne service and they do not stop at London Road. So it's a good thing I managed to bring myself back in, because that would have been an L. So at this point I'm going to make a brake step 2 application, and I'm going to remain in brake step 2 until the speed falls by at least 10 miles an hour. And that was basically, that was me performing the running brake test and simultaneously slowing down for the station. And I've released the brakes, now jumping between the brake step 1 and the release position to bring us to a stand at the 4 carriage stopping position. Now that we're at a stand, brake step 3, neutral, and we have a door release on the left. I don't know why, but when I'm commentating I feel very stiff. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna try my best to loosen up. You guys probably can't tell because you're only listening to my voice. You're not physically inside my body, so you can't feel the muscle, you can't feel the muscles or anything. But my mouth and my throat feels really stiff when I commentate. It's so weird. So I'm gonna try my best to just loosen up, try and relax a bit. We're at our scheduled departure time. We have a green signal. Checking the CCTV monitors, pressing the door close button. Door interlock light has illuminated. That should be on silent. Sorry, unprofessional. Very unprofessional. Green signal. Um, CCTV. CCTV monitors. Oh my goodness. Selecting forward on the FNR switch. It's still buzzing off. It's anyway. Power notch 1. Waiting for the brake cylinder gauge reading to fall to 0. Power notch 2. I'm honestly, I just laugh at anything, guys. I apologize. Power notch 3. Just being gentle in the acceleration because we are driving in the lethal season. I don't know how many times I have to mention this. I'm probably gonna stop saying it. And then yeah, up to power notch 4 as we get to 30 miles an hour. Speed limit went up to 55 miles an hour shortly before London Road Station. I think I forgot to call that out. So I'm shutting off the power at 55 miles an hour. And about now, I'm going to make a brake step 1 application to begin slowing down for Moulscombe Station. And again, I almost forgot I was due to stop at Moulscombe Station, thinking I'm driving an eastbourne service. I really don't want to be flying through any of these stations because then I'll have to go back to the beginning and start again, which is long. In fact, I probably won't do that today, so I only have 1 attempt at this. I need to get this right. So brake step 1 seems to be doing the job, but I'm going to up it to brake step 2 momentarily just to be safe. Aiming for an entry speed of about 17 miles an hour coming into the platform there. I went back down to brake step 1. Going to release the brakes momentarily. We are on a bit of an upward gradient coming into Moulscombe Station in this direction, so that is aiding our deceleration. Another burst of brake step 1, just creeping up to the stopping position here. Back into brake step 1. Bang on, look at that. Brake step 3, neutral, and we have a door release on the left. Right, we have a green signal, CCTV monitors, pressing the door close button. We have interlock. Another glance at the CCTV monitors and the signal. FNR switch into forward, and we are on a bit of an upward gradient, so I'm going to use the hill start button to move off from Moulscombe. Just like so. Up to power notch 2. Speed limit is now 70 miles an hour. It went up to 70 miles an hour shortly after we initiated our brake application to begin slowing down for Moulscombe. I tend to forget to call out speed limit changes whilst I'm slowing down for a station because I'm too focused on the station, so apologies for that, guys. And up to power notch 4 as we reach 30 miles an hour. Next station is Falmer. So as we get up to about 65 miles an hour, I'm gonna shut off the power, and we are climbing still, so our speed should roll down to 60 miles an hour, and we have an upcoming 60 mile an hour speed limit. So by the time we reach that, our speed should have rolled down to 60 miles an hour. And at the moment we pass that board, get a brake step 1 application in, that should have us down for Farmer Station on a decent deceleration curve. Brake step 1 seems to be doing the job. We are on an upward gradient still, so the brakes are going to be more effective than usual, so we can get away with slightly higher than normal entry speeds into the station. Gonna up the braking force to brake step 2 as we make our way along the platform here. Now releasing the brakes because I stayed in brake step 2 for too long. Creeping our way towards the stopping position. Up to brake step 1 momentarily, releasing again. Up to brake step 1 again, releasing again, releasing. Come on! Brake step 1. Perfect. Full service or brake step 3, whatever you want to call it. Neutral, and we have a door release on the left. This is actually a fairly decent run. I'm quite impressed. I don't want to jinx myself, but yeah, it seems to be going quite well. Green signal, CCTV monitors. Pressing the door close button. Oh, pardon me. Sorry, that was foul. Now I actually apologize. That was ridiculous. I might have to edit that out, you know, it's that deep. Door interlock light has illuminated. CCTV monitors, final glance at the signal, F and R switch into forward, and we are still on an upward gradient, so again I'm going to use the whole start button to move off here. Just like so. Up to power notch 2. Notch 3. And finally notch 4. Speed limit is currently 60 miles an hour, about to increase to 70 miles an hour as we enter Farmer Tunnel here. And on the other side of this tunnel is the summit for the climb that we've been making our way up. Beyond that summit is a continuous downward gradient into Lewis Station. So what I'm going to do is shut off the power now at 55 miles an hour and let gravity do the work. Excuse me. See, I was talking about how the run was going well, but it's not really. The driving is going okay, but the commentary, you know, my Snapchat going off, me burping in the mic, now I'm yawning. Yeah, you can't have it all. You can't have it all. Speedboard that we just passed tells us that we can continue to do 70 miles an hour, but freight trains need to be doing 35 miles an hour. But again, I mentioned this in the Eastbourne service video. I don't know why a freight train will be driving along here on a stretch of track between Brighton and Eastbourne. Like there's no freight terminals around here. It just makes no sense. But I'm aware of the fact that the lowest the lowest speed limit doesn't just apply to freight trains. There's other there's other categories as well that would have to abide by that speed limit, but I'm not too clued up on all of that. I only know passenger stuff. So we're now up to 70 miles an hour. I'm gonna try wait until we're about to exceed 70 miles an hour, so about now. And I'm gonna make a brake step one application to decelerate down to 45 miles an hour. Once we get down to 45 miles an hour, I'm gonna release the brakes and let our speed roll up to 55 miles an hour, because 55 miles an hour is the upcoming speed limit. And that speed limit commences right around this corner here, on the other side of this bridge that we're about to pass over. So we're down to 55, but again, I'm just maintaining a brake step one application to bring us down to 45 miles an hour, because we are still on a downward gradient. So there's the 55 board now. Down to 45, releasing the brakes and acknowledging an AWS alert regarding a warning board for a further reduction in the speed limit down to 10 miles an hour, and that commences just before Lewis Station. So as we pass through this tunnel here, I'm going to make another brake step one application, and that should bring us down for the 10 mile an hour speed limit on a fairly decent deceleration curve. You can see that our speed was starting to roll up to 55 miles an hour, but it only got up to about 50 miles an hour before I put the brakes in. Sorry guys, I'm trying to loosen up the stiffness. I'm trying to fight off this stiffness. I don't know, maybe if there's any other YouTubers that, when you first started out, did you get this sort of stiffness that you had when you were commentating? Because I have it right now and it's very frustrating. Anyway, that signal that we just passed is the signal that protects Lewis Station. If you go past that signal doing 30 miles an hour, then you're on a fairly decent deceleration curve. So aim to be doing about 30 miles an hour going past that signal, and then from there a predominant brake step one application should do the job, but you might need to up it to brake step two momentarily like I did just there. And we're now down to the 10 mile an hour speed limit just in time, so I've released the brakes and the downward gradient levels off just before we enter Lewis Station. And we're now going to be on fairly level terrain between here and more or less between here and Seaford, but just before Seaford I think there's a bit of a climb. Just making our way along the platform, and I'm going to get a brake step one application in about an hour. Upping that to brake step two momentarily, back down to brake step one, and the stop board is a bit higher than normal, so you just kind of have to guess where it is. You can't really use the window for reference. Now that we're at a stand, brake step three, neutral, and we have a door release on the left. I'm also gonna change the headlights configuration to the night running configuration because it is starting to get a bit dark, and I'm gonna go outside and check that now. As a safety precaution, always set the driver reminder appliance when leaving the cab. Yep, so the brighter headlight is now shining from the driver's side and the LED starlight is shining from the non-driver's side, which is the night running configuration. resetting the driver reminder appliance. Always check your signal as well when you reset your driver reminder appliance. And we should have departed 3 minutes ago. um Green signal, glancing at the CCTV monitors, pressing the door close button. Door interlock light has illuminated. A final glance at the signal and the CCTV monitors. F and R switch into forward, and we are on level terrain, so we don't need to use the hill start button to move off. So releasing the brakes and straight into power notch 1, up to power notch 2 momentarily, but the speed limit is 10 miles an hour, so I'm reducing that back down to power notch 1. Okay, interesting. Right, so I get to demonstrate something here. We've had a emergency brake application triggered by TPWS, train protection and warning system. So our train's been brought to a stand. I select brake step 3, neutral, and set the driver reminder appliance. You can see we have the brake demand light flashing there, the red brake demand light. What you need to do is press the AWS acknowledgement button, and that flashing light will become solid. You now need to wait for 60 seconds for the system to reset itself. Once the brake demand once the brake demand light extinguishes, you will be able to obtain a brake release. So as you can see, our brake cylinder pressure is being held at 4.5 bar, so we can't really have an active emergency brake application, and it's just falling back down to 3.5 bar, which corresponds with a full service brake application, and the brake demand light has now extinguished. However, before we proceed, we must obtain permission from the signaller to do so. So I believe where is it? Actually, no, I don't think you can do it in this. On some trains and train sim mode, you can press the SG button on the GSMR console, and that will send a request to the signaler. But this is an older version of the Electrostar. So what I'm gonna do, I'm playing on PS5, so I'm just gonna hold down the circle button, and you can see we've been given permission to proceed as the signals indicate. Now, I can remember I literally glanced at the signal, and the signal was displaying a green aspect when we departed from Lewis. So us getting a emergency brake application, it was clearly a fault with the TPWS system. It wasn't my fault. I did not pass a red signal. So although I'm fairly confident that the next signal is not going to be displaying a red aspect, I still have to continue assuming that it is going to be displaying a red aspect. So this is called proceeding at caution. Resetting the driver reminder appliance, F and R switch into forward, releasing the brakes, notch 1 of power, up to notch 2, back down to notch 1 as we get to 5 miles an hour, and shutting off the power as we get to 10 miles an hour. So yeah, I'm going to be driving assuming that the next signal is displaying a red aspect until I can see otherwise. Speed limit will be increasing to 40 miles an hour once the full length of our train passes that board. We are running extremely late now, but what can I do? What can I do? So we should now be clear of the 40 board, but I'm only going to select power notch 2 and accelerate up to 20 miles an hour because, like I said, I am assuming that the next signal is displaying a red aspect. So we're up to 20 miles an hour. I'm shutting off the power, and we're gonna maintain this speed until I can see the next signal. Here's the AWS magnet associated with the signal, and we've received a clear audible indication telling us that the signal is green, and we can now see the green signal itself. So I've gone into power notch 2 to continue accelerating towards 40 miles an hour, and you can see we have a further increase in the speed limit up to 60 miles an hour. So I'm going to momentarily select power notch 4, but I'm going to only accelerate up to about 50, maybe even 45 miles an hour, because we have an upcoming 40 mile an hour speed limit. So yeah, I'm going into brake step 1 now to reduce our speed down to 40 miles an hour, and that is because we are taking a turnout route to the right to head towards southeast. If we were continuing straight, or to the left even, we would be heading towards Gland, and after that onwards towards Eastbourne. But because we are bound for Seaford, we are turning off to the right here. Speed limit will be increasing to 70 miles an hour. So I've gone into full power to accelerate up to 70. I also acknowledged an audible AWS alert regarding a warning board that does not apply to us, that would apply to freight trains, and that tells freight trains that they need to decelerate down to 40 miles an hour to cross over a weak bridge, I think. It's a bit of a high workload. And now I was daydreaming, so I've accelerated up to 75 miles an hour accidentally. So I've just made a brake step 1 application to decelerate back down to 70 miles an hour. And we're on a bit of a continuous right hand curve here. As we get towards the end of this right hand curve, I'm going to make a brake step 1 application for Southeast Station. So I'm doing that now. And I'm most likely going to have to up the braking force to brake step 2 at some point. We have a whistle board coming up. And we also have a reduction in the speed limit down to 60 miles an hour, although that does not affect us. We're entering Southeast Station a bit too hot, so I've gone up to brake step 3 there momentarily. Well, not momentarily, I'm going to maintain brake step 3 for quite a while. Very, very hot, almost flying off the end of the platform, but we managed to get the speed down in time, so I've reduced the braking force down to brake step 1. Now releasing the brakes to crawl up to the stopping position. Burst of brake step 1 and another brake step 1 application to bring us to a stand. Full service, neutral, and we have a door release on the left. Yeah, see, I knew I was gonna jinx myself. Everything was going so well. It was nice and laid back, and then everything just plummeted into chaos. Oh dear. But I covered myself. I did say my geography was a bit rusty, so if anything happens, it's yeah man. Right, we don't have a platform starter signal here at Southeast, so I'm gonna look at the AWS alert, sorry, the visual AWS indication. It is currently blank, so we know that the last signal that we passed was a green aspect. Checking the CCTV monitors, pressing the door close button. Door interlock light has illuminated. A final glance of the CCTV monitors. Forward on the FNR switch, and we are on level terrain, so we don't need the hill start button. Straight into power notch 1 after releasing the brakes. Up to power notch 2 as we begin moving. Notch 3. Speed limit has increased back up to 70 miles an hour, so the reduction down to 60 is only for the section of track that runs through Southeast Station. So if you were driving a service that wasn't scheduled to stop at Southeast, then you would have to decelerate down to the 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. But if you're stopping for Southeast Station anyway, then you don't need to worry about that. And I've now gone up to power notch 4. Next station is New Haven Town. So we passed 2 whistle boards there, so I sounded a low tone of the horn. And we are up to 70 miles an hour, so I've now shut off the power. And we're in about a mile's time, we're gonna have a reduction in the speed limit down to 35 miles an hour. Yeah, in about half a mile now, we're gonna have a reduction in the speed limit down to 35 miles an hour. So I'm not gonna bother applying any additional power to maintain 70 miles an hour. If the momentum wants to die off, it can die off through like a... Now acknowledging an AWS alert regarding a warning board for the speed reduction down to 35 miles an hour. And as we exit this right hand curve and enter this straight section of track, I'm going to make a brake step 1 application to begin decelerating down to that speed limit. The speed limit commences shortly after this signal that we can see in the distance. So we're down to 50 miles an hour. I'm going to up the braking force to brake step 2 momentarily. Back down to brake step 1. We're down to 40 miles an hour. Down to 35 just in time, releasing the brakes. And as we enter this right hand curve, I'm going to make another brake step 1 application to slow down for New Haven Town Station. Aiming to have an entry speed of about 20, but about 17 or so miles an hour. Stopping position is at the end of the platform. Brake step 1 seems to be doing the job. Gonna maintain brake step 1 and see what happens. Ooh, hold on. Now up to brake step 2 momentarily, back down to brake step 1, releasing, and up to brake step 1 for the stop. I thought that we were going to be able to stop precisely with just 1 brake step 1 application, but nope. Would have been too good to be true. Brake step 3, neutral, and we have a door release on the left. Right, we are currently 7 minutes late, but we had the whole situation with the TPWS back at Lewis, and this timetable is unrealistically tight anyway, so yeah. Green signal, glancing at the CCTV monitors, pressing the door close button. we have interlock. Final glance at the signal, final glance at the CCTV monitors. F and R switch into forward, releasing the brakes. Notch 1 of power. Notch 2 of power. That speed board down there tells us that we as a passenger train can continue at 35 miles an hour, but a freight train would need to be doing 30 miles an hour. And again, I don't know why a freight train would need to be down here, but yeah. So as we get up to about 27 miles an hour, I'm going to make a brake step 1 application, because as you can see, New Haven Harbour Station is right around the corner from New Haven Town, and we also have a reduction in the speed limit down to 20 miles an hour just before entering New Haven Harbour Station. So I've decelerated down to 20 miles an hour, I've released the brakes momentarily, and on entry into the station I've gone back into brake step 1. Seem to be on a fairly decent deceleration curve at the moment. Let's maintain brake step 1 and see what happens. Oh, brake step 3. And we overshot the stopping position very slightly. I tried to have a continuous brake step 1 application and I had hopes that it would stop us precisely, but nope. Anyway, we're at a stand, brake step 3, neutral, door release on the left. My commentary is starting to go out the window, but thankfully we're not too far from Seaford station. I don't know, there is quite a high workload on this service in particular, so I'm getting a bit mentally drained. I'm dreading to do the Birmingham Cross City. I'm in the process of learning that route at the moment, but that route has an extremely high workload. I'm not sure how I'm going to cope with that, commentating with, oh gosh. Anyway, green signal, glancing at the CCTV monitors, pressing the door close button. We have our interlock, a final glance at the signal, still green, CCTV monitors, F and R switch into forward, releasing the brakes, notch 1 of power, speed limit is still 20 miles an hour, increasing the power to notch 2. As we get up to 15 miles an hour, reducing the power back down to notch 1. And we are up to 20 miles an hour, so I've now shut off the power. Speed limit will be increasing to 70 miles an hour, however. So I'm now selecting power notch 3. And finally power notch 4. Next station is Bishopstone. We've got a whistle board coming up here, and at this particular whistle board there is a local instruction to sound the horn for a minimum of 5 seconds. As we exit this right hand curve and enter this straight section of track, I'm going to make a brake step 1 application to begin slowing down for Bishopstone station. Bishopstone, however it's pronounced. I'm tired, okay? I didn't sleep too well last night. I have to go to the gym after I finish recording this. It's just not good. It's not good. Acknowledging AWS alert regarding a warning board for a reduction in the speed limit down to 15 miles an hour. That reduction in the speed limit commences just before Seaford station. So if you were driving a train that wasn't stopping at Bishopston and you were traveling at 70 miles an hour, you would make a brake step 1 application at that warning board, and that will bring you down for the speed limit on a decent deceleration curve. But obviously, because we're stopping at Bishopstone, that isn't the case for us. But anyway, we got down to 20 miles an hour. I released the brakes momentarily, and on entry into the station, I went back into brake step 1, and I've just been bouncing between brake steps 1 and 2. I've now released the brakes to crawl up to the stopping position. Here's the stopping position now. And I still overshot it, even though I had an overly cautious approach to it. Beautiful. Brake step 3, neutral. And this time we have a door release on the right, so I'm going to cross the cab and activate the door buttons on this side. Goodness me, need Red Bull. Need Red Bull now. Right, we have a single yellow signal in the distance. That is a fixed single yellow signal. And I believe it's a distance signal as well, so it's just stuck showing single yellow forever, more or less. I think. Yeah, I think so. I'm actually not sure now. It might be able to show a red, but I know it definitely can't show a green. But yeah, and that is just to warn us that we are approaching the end of the line. Pressing the, no, glancing at the CCTV monitors, pressing the door close button. Door interlock light has illuminated. CCTV monitors again. F and R switch into forward. Releasing the brakes. Power notch 1. Power notch 2. And because we have a single yellow signal, I'm not going to go above power notch 2. Just going to have a nice and cautious departure. Seaford station is not too far from here, so we don't want to be getting up to too much speed, because if we start daydreaming or something, it's not gonna end well for us, let's just say that. So you can see some bridges coming up in the distance. Just before we pass beneath those bridges, I'm gonna get my brake step 1 application in to begin slowing down for Seaford station. I'm fighting to stay alive and alert and commentate. Thank goodness we reached the end of this run, because I am dying. I am dying. Right, so I'm now making a brake step 1 application. We got up to about 40 miles an hour. Keeping in mind that the speed limit is 15 miles an hour just before entering the station. Although if you're coming into a dead end platform, you need to be doing 15 miles an hour regardless. Even if the speed limit was 125 miles an hour into the dead end platform, you'd still need to decelerate down to 15 miles an hour. So doing that now, down to 15, releasing the brakes. That was an exaggeration, by the way. There's no dead end platform in existence that has a speed limit of 125 miles an hour. Anyway, back into brake step 1. You want to be down to 10 miles an hour, no closer than 3 carriage lengths away from the buffer stops. And because we are quite a short train, and I know that there's no other train that is booked to stop at this platform behind us, I'm not gonna go all the way up to the buffer stops. This is in practice in real life at Seaford station. I know for a fact that train drivers do this, like they don't go all the way up to the buffer stops, because the trains are only 3 or 4 carriages into here and it's such a long platform, so it's just not necessary to go all the way up there. But anyway, now that we're at a stand, brake step 3, neutral, setting the driver reminder appliance because we have a dead end. And we have a door release on the left. Right. Removing the F and R switch into off, removing the master key, headlight switch into the off position, tail light switch into the on or auto position, turning the driver reminder appliance, automatic warning system, driver safety device, and vigilance isolation switches into the horizontal isolated positions, exiting the cab, and finally ensuring that we have 2 red tail lights being displayed, which we do. And that concludes this commentated drive. I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Constructive feedback and criticism is more than welcome in the comment section below and is highly appreciated. If you'd like to further support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. I will catch you guys in the next one. Love.